You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Kurt Bjorklund.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 16 says, "How much better to get wisdom than gold? To get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. The highway of the upright turns aside from evil. Whoever guards his ways preserves his life." The New Century Version says, "Good people stay away from evil. By watching what they do, they protect their lives." And so we're talking about the sovereignty of God. And one of the things that happens when you and I don't rest in the sovereignty of God is we believe that we need to take matters into our own hands. And when we take matters into our own hands, what we often do is we compromise or turn away or turn toward evil, turn away from what's right in order to try to bring about something that we think will have a better end. So to take the highway of the upright is to shun what is morally wrong. And some people in our culture don't believe in moral absolutes. Others assume that they're always self-evident and are quick to scold, shame, or cancel anyone who doesn't agree with their own moral absolutes. Proverbs sees evil as persuasive and internal. It's not something that's merely in others and out there. And this forces us to equate evil with things that we are all capable of on a regular basis. What is more, Proverbs unapologetically ties our moral choices to being preserved. In other words, choose evil to your own peril. But evils depicted in Proverbs do not just bring about individual peril, but they lead to a societal breakdown. And this is part of what we were talking about yesterday. And it's not always obvious that our moral choices and the good things, the things that are preserved, verse 17, in our life are tied together. But the impact of sin is not always immediate, and it's not always evident by circumstances. Here are some of the ways that evil is described in Proverbs. It's the Hebrew word ra, and here's just a few of them. Proverbs 1:16, evil is to harm others, to shed blood. Proverbs 2:12, it's to twist words and meanings. It's perverted speech. Proverbs 6:14, it's to create discord and disunity. Proverbs 6:24, it's to have sexual liaisons outside of marriage. Proverbs 8:13, it's to be proud and arrogant. Proverbs 20:22, it's to take vengeance when wronged. Proverbs 28:5, it's to deny justice. Proverbs 28:22, it's to run after wealth. That one's a little surprising. Now, it is certainly not universally agreed on that each of these things brings about problems in society. But when taken together, it would be hard to argue that the world would not be better if what Proverbs calls evil would be avoided. And so today, really what we can think about is that rather than letting the idea that we can confess our sins and experience forgiveness lure us into thinking that it doesn't matter what we actually do, we can choose to protect our lives by protecting purity or turning away from evil. I've seen many people assume that if it really doesn't matter what they actually do, or assume that it will not catch up with them, that they can make whatever choice they want. But grace doesn't negate all natural consequences of evil choices. And so when we functionally live as if there are no moral absolutes, and the only ones that exist are the ones that we can comfortably live with, what happens is then we have no societal standard. And even though we've basically walked away from the sovereignty of God over our lives and our society and said, if I want to get ahead or if I want to secure something, then this is what I need to do. And in order to protect ourselves from these and other vices, we must be able to identify the vice and turn to something better. What is better? It's the way that God has worked on our behalf. When we violate our purity, the purity of Jesus can be credited to our account through confession of our sins. Because in 1 John 1:9, we're told that he's faithful and just to forgive us our sins, that whenever we turn. And so today, I want to just make a simple choice that says, I will turn away from evil. I will protect purity rather than running toward it.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.